Southeast Conference soccer continues here at BMC Durfee High School as Hilltoppers host the Brockton Boxers for their second meeting here in 2019. Evan Massoud with you for the broadcast, joined today by the guy I've been referencing for over a year, behind the camera, Jake Fitzgerald, joining me in the booth today. Jake, I did not know until recently when you finally let me know that you used to play soccer. Why are you holding out?
Well, I'm afraid of the spotlight, Evan. Spent so long behind that camera, it's hard to come out in front of it. No, I mean, as a kid, I played soccer, up until high school, almost year-round. But, things changed when we got out here. But I'm excited to be here today to watch, Durfee take on a league opponent, Brockton Boxers.
For sure. Glad that you're with me for the broadcast. We got Nathan Saucier and Daniel Keating on camera. And we have, what do you know, some rain. I think this is the third event that we've done in a row on Fred TV outside where we've actually had some rain. And so it's not pleasant conditions, 54 degrees, driving mist on the field, and going to get colder as the game goes on.
Well, it depends on how you look at it, Evan, because some of these guys on the field, they might be, looking forward to some of these slicker conditions, and for some of these teenage boys, the rivalry is amped up a little bit with a little bit more difficulty on the field, sliding around and whatnot. All
right, Brockton comes in at 11-5, Durfee 4-5-4. So again, Brockton 11-5-0. No ties actually for the Boxers. So that's kind of an odd situation. You normally see a couple ties in there. They haven't had one. So it's been a really good year for Coach Herminio Furtado's Boxers. And I mentioned this is the second time that Durfee and Brockton squared off on the season. The first time was a 5-0 victory for Brockton at their home stadium. That was probably one of Durfee's worst losses of the season.
Well, I was talking to assistant coach Eric Gomes. He actually helped me out a lot preparing for this game. He was saying that game, these guys here, the Durfee Hilltop, has been looking forward to getting a second crack at Brockton. He was saying the score was tied 0-0 up until the 60th minute, where it kind of started to fall apart. So, we might see things go a different way tonight if the boys can hold on to it.
Just another example of how the final score isn't indicative of how the game was played. So that's interesting game notes. Yeah, I wasn't there for that game. We don't typically do the road games. And actually, I haven't seen Tiberio since I was out in Dartmouth with Dartmouth Cable doing that game. And that was at the end of September. So it's been a quick month of October, to say the least here. I can't believe the season's already almost over. Durfee's got 18 games on the schedule. So this is game number, what do we got, number 14?
Oh, I'm looking at Brockton's.
So this is game number 14 for Durfee. They don't have much time left, and at a 4-5-4 record. Oh, and one of the Hilltoppers going down on the wet turf.
Looks like Derek Lopes.
Yeah, and Derek Lopes starting today for Nathan Kuchar, who's been out on injury. He's back, but he's not going to start. Initially, he was going to start, but Coach Mello making the game-time decision that Nathan would not start. One of the spark plugs for the Hilltoppers, so they're definitely missing him. Been a tough go of it for Durfee since that win in Dartmouth. They haven't actually gotten a win. So it's been a tough go of it. Some tough losses on the road, a tie against BR. So a lot of ties, but they're at the point now where you're kind of in must-win games. And that's never a scenario you want to be in, but that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, it's tough. These guys are young. They like to think they're in a rebuilding year. It's all over the place with the grades.
Right. I mean, we've said it earlier this season. It's hard when you have to replace all of your starters from a year ago, and that's basically what Coach Mello's had to do. So definitely a rebuilding year for Durfee, but they're not out of it mathematically yet. They can still get into the tournament. They're going to have some work to do, but they can certainly get there.
That would be an exciting season to watch if they were able to pull that off.
It sure would. Let's run down the starters as we're going to quick goal kick for Zach Massa. For the Brockton Boxers, we have in goal number 1, Vinicius Neves. Number 2, Mario Dos Santos. Captain number 5, Luis Spinola. Number 6, Christian Santos. Number 7, Lucas Fernandez. Number 8, Kevin Barboza. Number 10, Jahim Neblet. Number 12, also a captain, Eric Brito. Number 14, Giovanni Martins. Number 17, Sergio Da Silva. And number 22, the third captain, Derek Brito. And the Boxers are led by head coach Herminio Furtado. It's always good to see Coach Furtado. For Durfee, you want to take Durfee?
Yeah, so Durfee's got I'm not sure on the positions here, so I'll just run down the starters.
Right, yep.
Zach Massa in goal. He's number 12. Number 3, Colin Hargraves. No Nathan Kuchar tonight, as we mentioned earlier, but number 6, Brandon Miranda. Number 7, Rafael Oliveira. Followed by 8, Christian Souza, CJ Souza. I've heard the coaches talk about him. Number 9, that's Nicholas De Silva. Number 14 will be Jake Silva. 17, Paulo Pacheco. 19 for your Hilltoppers, Brian Fernandez. 21, Derek Lopes. He's the one in for Nathan Kuchar. And 26, Chris Tobar.
Yep. And just a quick note again, Nathan. He's not starting, but I think he is going to see some minutes. That's at least the hope. So again, he's a big player for Durfee.
Yeah, if you've been watching the broadcast at all, you've heard Evan say that last name many times. Kuchar. He often has the ball.
He's usually all over the field. He's one of the high-speed players, and he usually makes a lot of stuff happen. Oh, a little push in the back, goes out of play. As we just saw there, Sergio De Silva all over Christian Souza. I actually got to meet Christian preseason before official preseason started. And in fact, that was a foul. They did give the foul on the little push there, so free kick for Durfee. But, yeah, Christian I interviewed at Ruben's soccer camp that he had here, the academy. So got to talk with him, and he was at the time out that particular week of the camp for an injury. They were playing it cautious. They didn't want to chance any further injury going into the season, but he hasn't had any problems here during the actual season, so that was good. But no, good kid. It was nice to get to meet him. Ruben told me that the kids are really it's a rigorous camp that they do. I think it was just a 2-week camp. It might have even been just a 1 week. I forget now. It's been 2 months. We've had a lot in 2 months here in Fall River.
Indeed.
And but yeah, they really put them through a lot of training. Like they make you not want to be there.
Yo, yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you stick it out, that's the signs that you really want to be there and you're working hard. So, and I know Ruben was impressed, and Coach Mello, I'm sure got a good report because I'm sure he was in touch, right?
No, I would imagine. Some of these camps can be quite intensive.
Oh, yeah. The Brockton New Bedford games always tend to be the chippiest, it seems. And actually, I didn't find New Bedford to be that bad this year when we saw them. But some of the New Bedford teams in the past, against Durfee, it gets really.
Did we cover that game?
Oh yeah,
we did.
That one going way back into the night. Yeah, kind of depressing too when you get to the end of October and it's like we're starting with no daylight.
Yeah.
6 o'clock game and it's dark. It's dark out. It's all under the lights.
Oh, it's cold. I was 5 minutes late to the broadcast today because I layered up. I wasn't sure what the weather was going to be like come 7 o'clock.
Oh, I know. This is a busy week here on Fred TV. This is like crunch time. Anytime in the fall, it's always end of October. It's crunch time, and so we had field hockey yesterday. Gary covered that one for us. I was inside getting highlights of girls volleyball. Their senior night. You'll see those highlights at halftime of this game. We got boys soccer tonight. Nothing tomorrow, Wednesday, but Thursday football again back at Diamond. They're playing Thursday at 4, so we'll have that game for you. And then field hockey has their senior night on Friday. We'll have coverage of that, either highlights or full broadcast. We're actually not at that point yet in terms of a decision, but regardless, there will be coverage of the senior night ceremony for field hockey. We got Brad Bussin in the booth. Brad, do we know boys soccer? Have we gotten a date for senior night yet? It's next Monday?
It's the 28th.
Yeah, do you know what time we're doing that? Is that 4? Okay. Fluid press box, folks. So boys soccer doing their senior night next week as well, looking at next Monday, we're told. No sides really had a good opportunity yet. And the couple goal kicks we saw as well were kind of on the ground. They weren't full steam, and I assume that must be attributed to the wet surface and the wet ball. A lot of times things can go wrong, although there's a solid kick from Zach into the wind.
This mist, it can be a little tricky, but it isn't so bad, especially on these turf fields.
Oh, it was right in that line. And, the line is a little bit indented a bit. It's almost got a groove. I thought it was going to stay in. But pretty much all in midfield right now, no real breaks. Everybody kind of biding their time here in the early goings. Nicholas De Silva, rather, he gets pushed from behind. That'll draw the free kick. I keep saying I'm going to get binoculars, and I just still haven't. I don't know what I'm waiting for. It would be so much easier to see the numbers. I mean, seriously, the I don't know if I said this once before on the broadcast, but I've also had the opportunity to do some games at UMass Dartmouth and over the last year, and you want to talk about a busy press box. So you got announcers row and the staff in front. So PA, music, stats, real-time stats, me, etc. And then behind us you got other college students or other players who maybe are not starting or playing that day. They're there with the binoculars, and they're one's handling offense, one's handling defense. They're calling out tackle numbers. They're calling out who ran the ball. Now you know why it's so much easier. When you're watching these games on, CBS, on, NFL on CBS or whatever.
If you have the manpower.
Don't think that Jim Nance and Tony Romo are alone in that booth.
Oh no.
Okay, not even close. First corner kick of the game. It's going to go to the Hilltoppers. Near side here. You see the flag right on the corner of your screen. Good strong kick going to the far side of the box, off the head, and it's going to go toward the far sideline. Will it be kept in? It does not stay in. Durfee will have it on the throw.
They don't seem to be too physically outmanned, but speed might be an issue here. They're going to have to keep up with Brockton.
Yeah, Brockton 11-5. That's a great record. That's kind of Durfee had a tremendous season a year ago, and they were way up at the top of the league. Rather in top of the division, really. They were, if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves right, they were number 2 last year.
They were seeded 2 going into the tournament.
So
did they pull Silver Lake again last year, or was it? Well,
no, it was.
Oh no, it was a Boston team.
Natick
or Bedford? Oh, Natick. It was Natick. Yes.
Might have been Natick. And Brockton coming in here, the 11-5 record, and this is their next to last game. They have one more road game, and it's at Burke High School. Brockton, again, though, they play a lot of the Boston schools. They play Xaverian. They play BC High this year. They played Somerville. So their schedule.
It's a kind of Metro South.
Really, and that's that's because of kind of where they are. New Bedford and Durfee. We've said this before. They're really kind of down in their own little world here. Bouncing ball in front, hooking kick. Zach Massa with the save.
Great save.
Tracking it the whole way. But again, that's why I really think for Brockton especially, they always seem to, I think, have an advantage. And they can be, I think, a tougher opponent than New Bedford. New Bedford, you got the rivalry. That's the historic part of it, the tradition and stuff. But, I look at it and I say, Brockton's playing teams that are just in another world, compared to a lot of the teams on the South Coast here. And that's, nothing against the schools that are here, but it's the truth. Boston's kind of like the Cape. They're feeding them something different there. There's something in the water. Really, the Cape, like hockey teams down at the Cape, phenomenal. I mean, they're like semi-pro. It's ridiculous. Yeah. They come here to Driscoll, and it's like, holy cow.
Well, they're all dressed up. They bags match.
Right.
They look great.
That's what I mean. So, the Boston teams, there's some really good athletic programs, some of the best in the state in the Boston area. And, Brockton, seeing them, whether they win or lose, that's beneficial, helps. I think, for them. Because they're, Brockton's seeing this really high level of play.
Well, that's, they almost got one foot in the door in all the Boston leagues. And then when it comes down to crunch time, they're able to just drop back south with everybody else down here. It'd be nice if the competition was level throughout, but it's not as if Durfee had the competition Brockton has. I think they would be able to hold their own.
Oh, for sure, and that's kind of what I'm getting at is that you have some conferences like that's what's also kind of strange. It's like we look at the old Colony League that's no longer obviously that was Dartmouth, BR, and Barnstable. They're in the same conference and they're different divisions. So not even so you're facing off against each other to get to win a conference for a playoff berth. And then you don't even see those opponents in the tournament. That's weird. That's really strange.
Yeah, strange.
I can't. I've said it before. I'm so happy that this is the setup now. We got the 5-team league. I think this is so much better for everybody.
Yeah, that old Colony League seems almost stranger than the Big Three was.
In a way, yeah. Durfee wants all hands. They're not getting it. Flying in is Jake Silva. Well, it looks like one of the boxers there might have gotten cleated.
It's tough. It's going to happen these games.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're giving it your all, you know.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the tournament. That one down the field it goes. Miranda will let Massa take care of it.
It'll just be cleared back out to the field, I would imagine.
Yep, pretty much. Line drive right toward the circle.
Back into Brockton play. They're going to have to really find a way to control the ball.
Throwing in on the far side. Yeah, we're pulling up the soccer brackets here. So from last year's South D1, not D2. That's stuff I'm doing on the phone. So yeah, Durfee was 14-2-2 last year.
That's a hell of a record.
Here's a chance for the Boxers, cutting off a break. Oh, he just missed the kick off the toes and off to the right. He had that corner, and it sailed. What a great chance for the Boxers.
Now that's where a little bit of slippery weather will keep you in a game.
Right, exactly.
know,
Exactly. And yeah, so Durfee did draw Natick. Natick was the bottom seed, 7-7-2, and they snuck away with a 1-0 win here at Durfee last year in the tournament. That was a real heartbreaker.
Yeah, that was a tough game to watch too, because the boys almost looked flat in the second half, which stunk because, you know, even going into the end of their season, they had such drive.
Oh yeah,
they were doing well, and it kind of just didn't quite make it after the into the postseason. Yeah,
Durfee, you know, it was that, you know, those are the type of seasons that you hate to see end one and done, because you almost think, it shouldn't have happened, you know. Brockton was 9-6-3 last year, so this is a good turnaround for them. You know, those three ties don't even count. Basically, they're added to their win column this year, so they're doing well. This is a good place for them to be late in the season, to have
11 and 5.
yeah, basically twice as many wins as you have losses. That's always a good thing to shoot for.
It looks like Brockton may be in a similar situation to Durfee. Is this year, though, they're going to graduate 8 starters, 13 seniors.
Yeah,
the bulk of their team is upperclassmen.
Yeah, that's the experience level, and that's kind of what we saw last year from Durfee, and that's why, you know, it made last year's loss that much more difficult. You know, because these guys knew they had the chance, and coach had said it all year. They had the chance to do something special last year. And I think the same could be said for boys volleyball, too. Brendan Kelly had an amazing team last year. And, you know, a 5-set, I don't want to say fluke, but a loss to Taunton in the playoffs that should not have happened. You know, that was a real tough break for Durfee last year. So
that's another one in 5.
Oh, yeah, of course. Boys, 5 sets. That goes without saying.
All the way through.
That goes without saying. Oh, my gosh. There's a trip there on the backside. Rafael Oliveira went down. Pass in front. Still going with it. Hilltopper's going to clear it out. Great job. I believe that was Brandon Miranda on the clear.
That's one of the players I had heard about when I talked to Eric Gomes, assistant coach.
My boy.
Ooh.
And the whistle blown as Oliveira gets tagged with a foul right around the 20-yard line, just outside the box. Dangerous spot to play there.
Yeah, he says Brandon Miranda, number 6. He's a big man in the middle. He's a big defensive guy, stopping big plays. And hopefully he'll come up with something big tonight.
Almost halfway through the first half, and we'll have a free kick here. It's going to be Eric Brito, number 12. Left-handed kicker right to the box and right into the hands of Massa, who quickly throws it away. He's got a good throw, too. Massa's really a great goalie for Durfee. He's done a great job.
A little bit of a break here.
Kicked up ahead. Really quick speed for the Hilltoppers, but it'll be scooped up by Neves.
They just got to keep attacking like that.
So senior night for the boys. We're getting word from athletic director Brad Buston that it'll be a 6 p.m. game next Monday against Old Rochester.
It's a good matchup for senior night.
I can't remember the last time we played Old Rochester for soccer. Did we play them last year?
I don't know
Really?
if we played them last year, but
I don't remember playing them last year.
definitely played them 2 years ago. Remember, Neil Lanier scored 3, maybe 2 goals. It was like a 6-0 victory.
Right.
It was a big game.
You're right. Yeah. Now that you say that.
Yeah, so it's usually a good matchup for these guys.
Yeah, Old Rochester has a good program for
Yeah.
for athletics in general. They always have some good teams. Now the Box are going down to the turf. That was De Silva. Well, next Monday, I'll spill the beans. I'm actually going to be at a concert. What else is new? It seems to be every time I miss something, it's going to be at a concert. So
Who are you seeing this time?
Fleetwood Mac.
Ooh.
Well, we were supposed to see them back in April, but I think Stevie Nicks got the flu toward the end of the tour.
I recall that, actually.
Yep, and I wasn't going to. Honestly, I've seen them before. I mean, they're good, but I wasn't going to go because I was really ticked off with the Lindsey Buckingham situation. Because to me, I'm sorry. Yeah, I know Mick Fleetwood's the drummer and whatnot, and he kind of glues it together with John McVie on bass, but Lindsey's the only one who sings every song and stays on the stage for every song. And yeah, anybody who knows Fleetwood Mac knows the story. They're a toxic band. That's the best way to describe it. And but the 2 new guys, they got a nice sound. And I said, well, what the heck? The tickets are like $50. I said, what the heck? You can't go wrong with that. And it'll be 2.5 hours of music. So
yeah, and I'm sure Miss Nicks will put on a good performance.
yeah, Stevie is. I'll tell you, that woman doesn't age. It's unbelievable. She doesn't age. She really doesn't. It's so impressive. Only female. Here's your musical status. The Hilltoppers may have a little break here. That's Kuchar into the game.
Oh.
Sends it to the uprights, and no good.
And they just got to keep attacking like that. They'll finally get something a little closer to the net and maybe inside.
But yeah, no, Steve, getting back to what I was going to say is that she's the only female artist to be inducted to the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice.
No kidding. Oh, twice. All
Yep,
right, I thought you were going to say at
in
all.
the band, with Fleetwood Mac, which was late 90s when they first got back together, and then as a solo artist this year.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's really impressive.
That is.
Very impressive. So anyway, so I'm sure it'll be a good show regardless. I'll miss seeing Lindsey Buckingham on the stage. He's a very underrated guitarist. He's actually one of my favorites. Very underrated. So we'll miss seeing him, but I'm sure it'll be a good show. And we'll coordinate. We'll make sure that we got some coverage.
Some footage.
Maybe you can
Monday
get some.
night.
Maybe you can fill in there and get the ceremony for us if you're
certainly can.
around, or we'll get the guys here, Daniel or Nathan, to. We'll make it work. We did not have that game. I'm not just adding it in. We didn't actually have that game for broadcast on the schedule, but we'll add it in at least for the pregame ceremony, so we can have that all on tape for all the parents and stuff. So we'll make sure we have that for you. And then actually next Tuesday as well, weather permitting, Diamond Regional. It's their last home game. They're playing Fairhaven. And the boys, the Bengals, they're heading into the tournament. We mentioned it before. They've had a tremendous fall.
Now,
they've been outstanding.
Are we going to see a Durfee Diamond game?
No.
They do play. Oh, yeah.
Well, they are playing. We don't have that one on the schedule.
Oh, not
right
on the
now.
schedule. Yeah.
No, not at the
I'm
moment.
sorry. I just meant in the
Yeah,
regular
my bad.
game
No,
play, yeah.
they are. They're actually we're going to Diamond on Wednesday, I believe. Diamond's got the home game, Brad? Yeah, Diamond's got that home game. We didn't have it on the schedule because we actually had something else on the schedule that night, so we weren't able to cover that one.
Yeah,
so.
that was one of the games when I asked when I spoke with Coach Gomes if there were any games he would like back or anything that he's excited for, and he's really looking forward to getting a crack at Diamond. As you know, we've covered Diamond a little bit this year, and they look well, they play well, and I believe their record reflects that. And,
they've been really impressive. Like, we're talking wins by a number of goals, not just 1-0 here, 2-1 there. I mean, they've been really good. Tumbling down is De Silva, who seems to have spent more time on the turf than he has on his feet. Seriously, he's been on the ground a lot here. Gets up, though, no worse for wear. We're already past the halfway mark here in the first half. Just over 16 minutes left to play, and we're still scoreless here at Mac Aldrich Field.
Another one on the ground.
Yeah, and again, I think that I would assume that the wet field is probably not helping. Not able to really dig the cleats in. Yeah, we mentioned it about Diamond Diamond soccer, rather, excuse me, as Da Silva goes back down to the turf. Diamond.
I told you, they like to slide
That's
around.
what I'm talking about, I know. Diamond, 11-0-2.
11-0-2.
Yeah, that's no joke. And I'm telling you, we talk about scores here. We'll just run down a few. 4-0, 3-1, 7-0, 7-3, 6-2. They tied Durfee 2-2, one of the two ties. Then 9-1, 7-3, 8-0. That was the Conley game we covered.
Yep.
5-0. I mean, they're putting up some crooked numbers that you just don't normally see in soccer. That one sent towards the box off the head, bouncing ball in front, and the Boxers are going to take the lead
stinks.
on Massa's. Massa went down. It got by him. Thought he made the initial save. Brockton going to grab the early lead.
Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow right there. Is that off a free kick into the box?
That was off the free kick into the box. Massa went down, couldn't recover, and an easy header right into the net. And that's what happens sometimes. Little fluke goals, and again, maybe the wet ball not as easy to handle or get a handle on.
Maybe.
It took the bounce, and that was the end of it. So 1-0 Brockton here.
Well, what Durfee really needs right now is to just stay in this game, be aggressive, get on these Boxers here, and just make sure they don't let this next 14 minutes get away from them, because it's going to be really hard to come back from that after a halftime break.
Exactly. Kuchar there had sent that one toward the box, scooped up by Neves, and he's still down in there. Kuchar's a senior this year. Again, definitely one of the spark plugs for the Hilltoppers. He'll be one that they'll miss next year for sure. Pass up from Santos. And that one going all the way to the far side.
Yeah,
Brockton sending it back to the defenders.
Just pinballing it back and forth.
Right, it's a keep away. Now sending it down the field, off the head and toward the box. It's a foot race. Look at the speed on the, and there's a push in the back too. But tremendous speed on that far side for the Boxers forward.
Well,
I wish I could see his number. I
there.
apologize. I can't see his number through the mist here. But that was well orchestrated. That's kind of what you want to do. Send it up and then go get it. You know, we talk about that in hockey too. Send it to the corner, dump it in the corner, and then go.
They had a little bit of distraction going on over here, just bobbing the ball, setting up the play they wanted, and then a tremendous kick from that defender who sent that ball almost directly into where he needed it. Oh, another good give and go by Brockton. Then moving around real well now. Durfee's going to have to get some more ball time, get some more time with control of the ball, slow down Brockton here.
Well, when you play with a lead, you play with more confidence because you got that cushion. You have the advantage. And Brockton's had great ball control through this whole first half, despite, again, a very wet field. You can tell, folks, when it's really wet because it's starting to get that sheen, like reflecting light, and that's what we got now. The mist is picking up even more. Looks like almost clouds going across the field, but it's actually all kind of rain shields. That one heading towards the sideline and out of play. So, yeah, just kind of a nasty night out there. But Brockton definitely handling it a little better than Durfee. We got an injured player on the field for the Hilltoppers.
I think that's Rafael Oliveira. Oh, no, it's not. Nope. As Rafael Oliveira walks over to the player on the ground.
I think that's Lopes. That's number 21. That's Derek Lopes.
Lopes.
He's down on the ground at the moment. Stretching out the leg. Might have gotten caught or slipped.
The old soccer cramp, maybe.
Oh, that could be the cramp as well. Well, while he's being tended to, we will step aside. Got 11 minutes, 51 seconds to play in the first half. 1-0 Brockton. The conclusion of the first half next on Fred TV. Welcome back to Mac Aldridge Field. Derek Lopes got up under his own power, took the golf cart off the field with our trainer, Kelly Mahoney. And I think you may be right, Jake. I think it might be cramps.
Well,
You know,
Derek
cramping up
Lopes is
'cause
our player coming in for Nathan Kuchar.
Well, he
Or-
was the starter for
He
Nathan,
was.
but he stayed out there. Another one lofted toward the box, and it's going to go out of play. But I saw Lopes when he got up. He was actually grabbing like his
It's
thigh
the
area.
hamstring,
Yeah,
almost.
hamstring area, and I think maybe he might have just been cramping
it.
up. Because I didn't see a collision. I mean, the ball was off to the side, but then he was just kind of sitting on the ground. Like he wasn't – there was nobody near him.
Mhm.
So I'm going to venture to say it might have been that.
It's you know what happens, especially in some
Oh,
of these
yeah.
high-strung games. These guys running around. And, you know, we're out dealing with kids in high school here. Their nutrition and I don't want to say hygiene, but their hydration levels probably aren't, you know, that of a professional athlete. So
That might have been off – I thought that might have been off the hands.
that definitely looks like a handball to me. But I'm
Miranda.
gonna let him play.
What hand? You know?
Yeah, could be seeing something on the field I'm not seeing up here.
I
so.
know. I mean, you know, we had the New York Jets quarterback throwing a ghost the other night, Monday Night Football against the Pats. So we could be seeing a fake hand. Who knows?
That was an
That was
incredible game. I don't know why they didn't just tell Donald to stop throwing the ball.
Thank you.
We need to.
I said that.
Why do we keep stopping the clock, guys? You know, let's let the game end.
Well, to be quite honest with you, and then to Belichick's credit, the Jets going to play the game of, we're not going to give them the delay of game penalty, so he's got more room. So what do the Pats do?
A false start.
They false start it with
1 second left.
Yeah, they took exactly. They took 90
it
seconds
doesn't
off the
matter.
clock, and the best part was Bill Belichick's grinning about it. I mean, I was waiting for him to do it again
That is the first time
I've never
they've
seen that.
photographed the man smiling as well.
during the game.
Yeah,
That's funny.
he's happy as could be.
Right. Well, I mean, seriously, he plays the game till the end, and you know it. That was a handball too. And is there a whistle or no?
I think that was an offsides call.
no,
No,
they
maybe not.
they're letting him play. But I'm telling you, Oliveira's hand was out there, and the ball went down. So I think that's 2 handballs that Durfee may have gotten away with. But seriously, yeah, that Pats game, I mean, utter domination. I mean, the Jets are, the Jets are the Jets.
Yeah.
Really. But even so, the defensive performances that we've seen through the first 7 weeks of the Patriots, it's like, I mean, this is making me think of 2003 when they won their second Super Bowl. Because that defense that year had 3 shutouts. They were just absolutely nasty. They were unbelievable.
Well, so here's where I've sinned, where this was the first Patriots game I've witnessed this year.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, they weren't playing very good teams, and the weather's been great. And to be honest, I'd rather be outside than to watch a blowout after.
Well, true.
My entire life, the Patriots have been good. I don't mind missing a game.
Sure.
So the whole pregame show last night, they're talking about how terrible the Pats' offense is, and how they can't get it going, and they don't have a running back. And to me, they're 6-0. I'm thinking this is a regular Patriots offense. And come to find out, the defense.
It's the defense.
Is incredible.
The defense is incredible. McCourty's got now 5 picks in 7 games.
That's
Devin
insane.
McCourty.
They had 4 picks last night.
It's just it's amazing. But yeah, all the writers were saying pregame that it's going to be a game. The Pats are going to win it, but it'll be 1 possession. And I'm sitting there. Yeah, it's 17-0 with 10 seconds to play in the first quarter. What are you talking about? What are you thinking? So, yeah, it was just total. And you know what I'm most impressed about, too, this year, which is not normally the case, but how many fans the Pats have had on the road this year.
Oh, yeah. It was loaded
That's not
up.
normal for football. Baseball, yes. Red Sox Nation is all over the country. I mean, we go to Anaheim to play the Angels, and it might as well be Fenway West. You go to Tampa Bay, it's Fenway South. I mean, I'm not kidding. The Sox fans, it's just incredible how well the Red Sox travel. But now we look at the Pats. The Pats fans are traveling.
No, I wonder
They're not afraid anymore, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I wonder if that's Pats fans traveling, and I hope it isn't this second one, but perhaps the Patriots are taking on this, Yankee level of...
who
where
knows?
They're just picking up fans all over, because, I mean, we all know Yankee fans. And
I hope Chief Lynch is not watching. Oh, Nathan's a
Yes, I
Yankees?
do.
Oh, come on. Oh, all right. I was going to
Are
say.
you saying Daniel's a Yankees fan? No.
Oh, you gave us the look like we were just talking about your team. By the way, the Yankees are playing golf this week while the Astros are in the World Series.
Yeah.
That was a great series, though, I have to tell you. That was a good series. That
Ooh,
one.
Another attempt there.
I got to tell you, though, You know, Houston's a great team, and the Yankees were a great team this year, and they deserved to both be in the ALCS. I think Houston was the better team. I'm glad that they did beat the Yankees, but I am rooting for the Nationals because I think the Nationals pitching staff is just outstanding. You know, we look at Washington. Two of the guys were on the Detroit Tigers when the Sox played them in the ALCS in 2013. That was Anibal Sanchez, a former Sox prospect, and Scherzer. I mean, their pitching is really great. They just have steamrolled over everybody in the first 2 rounds. Of course. So I'm actually kind of excited for the World Series. I probably won't watch much of it because the games are just long and they're very late, you know. And it was even tough watching the Sox last year. It was fun, but I mean, some of the games just go so late.
Who's playing Houston?
The Washington Nationals.
Oh, the Nationals.
Yeah.
Versus Houston.
Yeah, I really think it's going to be a good series.
As you can tell, I'm not very up on my baseball either.
Yeah, I haven't really followed much until the league championship series.
I love playing
just
baseball. I don't watch it very often.
Wow, that was a late whistle. If there ever, I mean, there was like a 3 count before they called the free kick after Saunders got taken out.
Oh, is that what the call was?
Yeah,
I wasn't even sure.
He
what
went
the call
tumbling
was.
down, and that was like literally like 3 or 4 seconds. Then they finally blew the whistle. That was a little bit late. Or maybe it might have been actually. It might have been Jake Silva who's kicking it now. Is Saunders on the field? No, I don't see him. No, he's not. Yeah, I guess I thought I saw a 5. I'm going to assume it might have been Silva who went tumbling down.
It was, yeah, 14 there. Pretty similar.
5 minutes to play here in the first half. 1-0 Brockton still here on Fred TV, and they just had another great chance. Corner kick, another kick that went through the uprights as well. Yeah. They've really controlled this first half. You know, we've digressed on a couple things, but it keeps it fun. But seriously, Brockton's really controlled this first half. That was kept in, centering pass, and Massa's got to make a play on it. What a job in that corner.
Yeah, just the amount of domination Brockton has in the midfield. And then they're constantly sending the ball across the field, across the net, into the box. Durfee wants to make anything happen. I think, you know, they don't even need a goal at this point. They just need a handful of shots on net to improve morale before they get to halftime.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and on that far side there, I'm waiting to see him turn his back. So that was number 8, Kevin Barboza, midfielder. He's the one who just raced all the way to the corner and was able to redirect that about 110 degrees towards the center for that shot on net. It was a weak shot, but still, it was still a shot on net. I mean, that's great hustle there. And Barboza, a junior, very tall, very fast.
Yeah, when that aggression helps. You know, you fight to get to the ball.
That one going out.
You can beat your opponents in more ways than one. And you know, if you can beat somebody in the middle of the game, it's a lot easier to beat them at the end.
Yeah, speed thrills. Remember the name Maya Parker from Diamond?
I do not.
Yeah, she played basketball. She missed most of her senior year due to injury.
How recent was this?
About a year or 2.
Okay. Short
player. She was one of the quickest on the court, and she also was on the soccer team, and she was unbelievable on the soccer team as well. And speed in this kind of a game where you have open field, speed thrills. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to control the ball, sure, but if you can outrun your opponent, and we've seen that a few times, either Durfee doing it or opponents doing it to Durfee, where, you know, you're in a foot race to the ball and you just see one guy just reeling in the other. I mean, that's really exciting to see that. It's like an all-out sprint, you know, and you being, you know, on the track, coaching track. I mean, you know what it's about. You know how exciting sprinting is, of course.
Well, even I mean, at least in soccer, it's an 80-minute game, and it's hard to spend 80 minutes on, you know, on somebody's heels or somebody just 2 steps ahead of you.
Oh, look at this setup! Oh, what a sweet goal! As the Boxers grab their second and a fist pump.
Louis Spinola.
Yep, Louis Spinola with an incredible feed from his midfielder. And he beat both defenders, played it onside, and then he beat Massa. 2-0 Brockton with 2 minutes to play here in the first half. And that's exactly what you said you don't want to happen if you're the Hilltoppers. Already down 1-0 on kind of a fluke goal. And now you're going to be down 2-0 to start the second half.
Salt in the wound right before you're going to leave the field. It's tough, especially in a game like soccer that's so low scoring, to come back from something like that early on in the game. I mean, luckily they have the time to battle out of it, but
yeah, that was even hearing Brad Buston here saying that one of the nicest passes. He's right. That was absolutely fantastic, the feed.
Threaded right to three or four defenders.
Yeah,
and
you really can't do it much better than that.
I mean, it's the same type of deal, just the Brockton's control of the middle of the field is allowing them to just feed that ball wherever they need to go.
Free kick going towards the net. It's batted away almost like a setter in volleyball. Neves with the two-handed flick. And it goes out of play. Brockton going to throw in. It'll be De Silva. So that was actually a really good kick toward the net on the free kick. A long kick, trackable, but still it was in a good spot.
It was a playable ball.
Yeah.
And we might see another one here. I mean, Brockton's just going to really want to slow the game down now, get out of this half. You can see Louis Spinola just on that throw-in telling his teammates to just ease things off here. They just got to bide their time. But Durfee's in the opposite position. They really got to use this 2 minutes to their advantage, or whatever's left of it.
Yeah, we haven't had too much stop time here in the first half, so I venture to say probably within 60 seconds we'll be done, if not maybe even less than that.
There were a couple of free kicks early in the half, but you know, after that, it's a lot of smooth play. Unfortunately, that's almost when Brockton started to take hold and really get control of this game at the same time.
Coming toward the near side. Out of play it goes. It'll be Durfee ball.
Oh, that was a nice kick. I wish it was, you know, going forward with a more extended play there.
And Tobar stuck the heel out. Kind of a backwards kick, you know?
Yeah, you get it right off the heel, you can nick it. Redirect it almost like in hockey.
Nobody was home, and now Brockton just playing some keep away.
Yeah. And there's the half.
There is the half. So the Boxers with a 2-0 advantage after 40 minutes here on Fred TV. 1.5 games Durfee has not been able to score against this tough Boxers team here in 2019. Will the second half allow Durfee to break the ice? We shall see. In the meantime, I'm going to take you inside the field house right now. You see some footage right now on your screen as the Lady Hilltoppers, who are playoff bound, hosted Conley on Monday and had their senior night. So we're going to turn it over to public address announcer and assistant coach Chris Policino, who was nice enough to hold our mic as well. So we'll turn it over to him, and so enjoy the senior night ceremony and some highlights. We'll be back with the second half right after that.
Good evening and welcome to BMC Durfee High School. We are here at the Thomas Skip Karen basketball court in the Luke Urban Fieldhouse for this non-league volleyball game between the Lady Cougars of Bishop Conley and your Durfee Hilltoppers. As always, we are pleased to welcome you this evening to Durfee High School. Good sportsmanship is one of the primary goals of interscholastic athletic programs. Our student athletes recognize that judgment calls are made in good faith and they must abide by the decisions of the officials. Spectators can support their interscholastic program by refraining from derogatory remarks or cheers. We hope that you will enjoy the game and that you support all participants in a positive, sportsmanlike manner. Now let's meet tonight's starting lineups. For your Cougars, we have number 5, Madison Amaral. Number 13, Samantha Vivaris. Number 11, Ashley Patin. Number 3, Autumn Cabral. Number 2, Caroline O'Donnell. Number 1, Abby Schnur. And number 7, Alina Strozik. All right, and for your Durfee Hilltoppers, we have number 10, junior, captain, Emma Resendiz. We have number 2, junior, Michaela Malay. And number 5, junior, Sophie McDonald. All right, tonight we are here to where do we go? We're here to celebrate our senior members who have committed the last 4 years of their school year of participating in girls volleyball. Okay, so we're going to announce them next, starting with Bishop Conley. All right, we have number 5, Madison Amaral. All right, congratulations. All right, for your Durfee Hilltoppers, we have number 3, Laura McGlary. All right, number 7, Leticia Cavallo. Number 11, Valeria Lamas. Number 12, Jasmine Regerar. And last but not least, your captain, number 14, Adriana Fernandez. Thank you, girls. Good job. Good luck. Congratulations.
Hello, I'm Kelly Susie Young, Election Commissioner for the City of Fall River. You will notice some changes at the polls on November 5th. State-of-the-art voting machines will be used for the November 5th election. These are the same machines we used in the September preliminary election. You will see blank ovals on the ballot. Please, completely fill in the oval next to the name of the candidates of your choice. Most municipalities in Massachusetts use the DS200 system. Now we do too. Training sessions are available upon request. Please, make time to vote. It is your civic duty. We hope to see you at the polls on November 5th. If you have any questions, our poll workers will be happy to help. Thank you.
Welcome back to Durfee High School. Evan Massoud and Jake Fitzgerald with you on Fred TV. Southeast Conference Boys Soccer. Brockton in town squaring off against Durfee, the second meeting of the season between these two schools. And Brockton has outscored Durfee in 3 halves, 7-0 this season in the combined 2 games. Durfee needs to break the ice, Jake, and they need to do it early here in the second half.
Yeah, they're going to have to come out and they have to, just attack the ball. They have to keep good pressure on Brockton, keep the heat up, and really have to go to the ball. Don't let the ball come to them. They're going to have to go to the ball, which, it sounds almost foolish, but if you got a guy standing there, he's waiting for a pass to come to him, you got to take those steps, be ambitious, get the game moving. You need to change this tempo into a rhythm that's better for Durfee than Brockton.
And that's kind of been the challenge here. Now the wind is blowing from the north down the field, and that's why you just saw the drop kick here from Neves. Did not get very far, and some of Masa's kicks did not get very far either. You're kicking into the wind and into the mist, into the driving mist. So that's slowing the ball up. Durfee will have the wind at their back here in the second half. The problem is to your point, the aggressiveness, getting to the ball and being able to sustain anything on offense has been incredibly challenging. Brockton's done a really good job at buttoning up the middle of the field and the defensive area.
Yeah, they're just smothering them all over the field. They're on top of them. They're getting breakaways. They're making long kicks. Well, maybe not so much getting breakaways, but they're making breaks toward the net. Yeah,
they've had very impressive ball control, and on a wet surface on a really crappy night. I mean, it's really nasty out there. This is, it's been, they're playing to the feet. They're finding their teammates. Here's a chance. Oh, and it's blocked. Tremendous defense backing up the goalie.
But here's a second shot at it. This is what Durfee needs. They need to stay on it and just like basketball. They need to get boards and they need to get the ball in the net.
That was Lucas Fernandez, who just denied the Hilltoppers their first goal of the night and what should have been their first goal of the night.
A great defensive play, too. Lucas Fernandez, you said?
Lucas Fernandez, number 7.
Right place in the right time there, just doing his job.
Actually, I'm going to take that back. Excuse me. I saw it. It looked like 7.
Oh, no, I don't think
I want to say, is it number 2? Oh, no, it was number 7. Okay, because he's a forward, so kind of strange that he's playing back. He is a forward on the roster. Typically, he'd be up the field. That's why I thought maybe the 2 or the 7 was a 2, because Dos Santos is a defender for Brockton. But nonetheless, it was Fernandez, and that was the save of the game right there, in my opinion. That was fantastic.
Definitely. Maybe Coach Furtado made some changes specific for Durfee's Durfee's lineup. Sometimes you see that some guys, a lot of midfielders in particular, either come out of playing forward or playing defense and go into playing midfield. They're usually outsized for defense or too big for the forward position. They find themselves in midfield, but it also gives them the versatility to move all over the place.
Yeah, that's like a coach's dream right there. I mean, we talk about baseball, 5-tool players. You can hit, you can run, you can field, you got a strong arm. I mean, that if you can do it all in any sport, you're going to get used. That's for sure. And we see it with football all the time. Some of the best players on the field, they're playing defense and offense.
Well, yeah, look at Jay Hall. There's a good
example.
He's on the field constantly.
Lucas Roque.
Yeah, another one.
A couple years ago, I mean, he was like a defensive leader, and yet he was one of their offensive spark plugs too. He was a great hilltopper. He had a good career. That's Vanilton Xavier, number 9. Thought he was going to have a chance at it there.
Well, that's that Brendan Miranda plugging up the middle there.
It is.
And that stopper.
Loose position. Ball, a collision with Massa, and you're right, though. Miranda has had a great game, Jake. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No problem. Well, and that was just what I was talking about right there, is attacking the ball. Not being on your heels during this game, getting to the ball.
Yeah, Massa came out at it. He's paid the price a couple times tonight.
Yeah, and what you're saying earlier about having a player that can go all over the place. My experience in soccer, and it actually kind of feel like it counted against me, but at least the way I thought of it, because you never get to start when you're a utility player. Right. Because you got to see where you're needed. So, I spent a lot of time in the first 10, 15 minutes of the game on the bench, and unfortunately, it affected. I thought I wasn't as good a soccer player for it. Right. But in reality, it was the versatility that kept me off of the field in the starting minutes. But, they might need you somewhere else, and it's really what you need for the team. Right.
All right. As a team sport, you got 10 guys on the field and 1 protecting your net. So it's probably one of the busiest on the field out of any sport, really, because you're all spread out, everyone's running. At least with football, you gotta pause in between and you're lining up for a play. Not to say that there's not a lot happening, but with soccer, I mean, you got guys all over a field.
Well, even from a filming point of view, I was telling, Danny and Nathan, they first started with us this year. Like,
good pass up ahead.
Football games are a cakewalk.
They really are.
You got 10 seconds per play, maybe, and then you got 30 seconds in between. They're not a lot of movement. Soccer, on the other hand, these guys are all over the place. The ball moves in 3 dimensions.
I think the only thing worse than soccer is probably hockey, and I think, and part of it's because of Driscoll.
Yeah.
Because even softball and baseball, I mean, it's tricky at times depending on the situation, but there's a lot of dead time in between pitches. Baseball more so than softball. But
the speed of the game, you get it in soccer, you get it even more in hockey. The speed of volleyball is almost similar, but at least it's kind of just you're ping-ponging back and forth.
Right, yeah, you don't have a field like this where the ball can just change directions a lot quicker like that. That's going to drop right in front of Hargraves. Going to be turning it around. Nice job. First-year starter, Colin Hargraves.
He's doing well, and he's a little outsized over in that position on number 9 from New Bedford there.
Brockton.
Brockton.
Yeah, Xavier,
yeah, okay.
But Hargraves was one. I mentioned. I referenced the summer camp, the academy, and Colin was one of the players that was highly talked about in terms of his commitment. He had improved a lot from his freshman year, and the thought was that he'd see some starting time, and he's started almost every game this season. That one's going to skip by to the right and go out of play.
It's another opportunity, and that's really what Durfee needs right now. It's just some more opportunities.
Yeah, and they're not getting them. It's Brockton creating those chances for themselves, and now they got a corner kick here.
Yeah, Durfee's dealing with some kind of iron curtain back here around what would be the 30-yard line on the football field. They just can't seem to crack it.
Headed out of the box, and a nice job by Tobar to send it toward the circle, and his teammate there, Brian Fernandez, who has it skip by, and it'll be a foot race. It goes out of play, should be Brockton ball.
And it is.
Yep. How strict are they about where you throw in? Because, the ball went out about 10 yards further down the field, and you just saw Danny Rezendi throw it in from further up. I don't know. I feel like it depends on the officials. Some of them tend to be. Is that really what it comes down to?
Yeah, it is fairly subjective.
Because that wasn't close.
And the thing is, too, is a lot of these officials aren't going to nitpick too much. I mean, 5 yards in a soccer game is really only going to get you so far. It's not so much like 5 yards in a football game where you might be getting yourself a whole new set of downs.
Okay, yeah, well, that makes sense. Or like in a free kick, they're going to be a little more specific there, right?
They are fairly specific with free kicks. I have seen some referees really get
Oh, what a save from Massa. That was going in for number 3, and he stuck the hand out, and he was able to tip it out of play.
Excellent play. That's why Coach Gomes calls Zach Massa the best goalie in the Southern Conference.
He really is good. He's not the tallest, but I'll tell you, he can get up the ladder, and evidence of it right there. That was one heck of a save. That took a goal off the board.
And, for a player who, I'm not sure if he played soccer before high school, but I know he just recently started playing goalie. He's really starting to fit into that position.
It will result in a corner kick for the Boxers as we roll up on the 30-minute mark. So 10 minutes gone here in this second half. Low kick, bouncer handball in the box.
That's brutal.
That is brutal. That's not good.
That's going to cost Massa his last save. The great play by Massa might just be erased here.
Yeah. That was Miranda, I think. Either Miranda or Souza. I can't tell if it's a 6 or an 8. I think that's 8. Yeah, that was Souza. So it's a penalty kick. Like you just said it. Massa with the great save, and now, these are 50-50. It really could go either way on penalty kicks.
And that sinks there for Christian C.J. Souza. He was one of the guys that the coaches were singing his praise. He's really coming along. He's a great player. I think that was you spoke about him earlier at the camp. And that's tough. You kind of got to brush it off. These things happen. It's unfortunate it happened in the box.
And it's good. Massa went left. He was leaning that way. And it is 3-0 Brockton, and I believe that was Vanilton Xavier who picked up the goal, number 9, and now he'll come out. So 3-0 Boxers on the penalty kick, and that's a shame because, again, Massa just seconds ago had one of the best saves of this whole game.
Yeah, I mean, you had the Brockton Boxer number 8. No.
7.
Lucas Fernandez with the save of the night, but I think Massa was competing for it there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he clearly took a goal off the board.
Yes.
So anytime you you really take one off, I mean, we're not talking like just, oh, I scooped it. No, we're talking like, full on it was going in type save. Those are where you get to, those are the ones that you get to say, oh, wow, yeah, that might have been the save of the night.
It would have been one of those baseball glove over the fence type moments.
Right, a Gold Glove Award.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Web Gem, as ESPN used to. God, I miss baseball tonight. I have to tell you. I don't watch as much baseball as I used to. But, man, back in like 04, 05, 06, when it was like the legit crew, too. Carl Ravage, John Kruk, Tim Kirchner, Harold Reynolds, when he was still there before he went to MLB Network, that crew was just awesome to watch every night. The Sox, the games weren't that long anymore, at that time. The Sox were finishing at, 9:55, 10 o'clock, right at 3 hours. So I'd flip over to ESPN and I'd watch the hour show at 10 because they'd always have more extended highlights and stuff, touch them all with the home run balls and then the web gems. I mean, that was one of my favorite shows, and it kind of went downhill, and now it's not even on. So, but anyway, we got another injured player on the field for the Hilltoppers. So
it looks like Chris Tobar,
number 26, who's an addition to the roster here. So we're going to take another time. Oh no, maybe we won't. He's getting up. All right, we'll stick with it. We'll keep it here. We will keep it here. It's Tobar on his feet, and we will continue play in just a couple seconds. So
looks like he's got some kind of injury to his right foot there, possibly a rolled ankle or a good old soccer cramp.
Again, possible. I remember I saw him go down. I think he got tangled up.
That's like saying, literally, this is me.
That's tough, because as much grief as soccer players get for being actors or flopping and stuff like that, it's a good running joke about the sport, but it's a very physical game once you get into the nitty-gritty of it.
That one went too long, overshot the net. Had plenty of hang time, but just a little too far on the free kick. I thought only the Montreal Canadiens flopped on the,
Oh wait, well, actually, if you have 30 seconds, you should look up the I believe it's a World Cup commercial from the Italian team.
Oh yeah.
And it's gold, because they're all lined up doing foot fire drills, and the coach blows the whistle, and they all drop to the ground and grab their ankle. It's a great, and it's the end of the commercial is FIFA World Cup 2008 or 2004 or what have you.
Yeah.
It is just
that's hilarious.
Golden. Not the only sport where it benefits you to have a little bit of an acting career in you.
Oh yeah.
Sees basketball more and more lately. They're able to sell the flop.
Yeah, I have. Oh man! Oh,
God.
that's not good. That's gonna be
that ball
painful.
just get kicked out of bounds.
Yeah, landed right on the hip.
Even the impact in the air didn't look good.
Nope. And I thought he landed either on his arm or his wrist too. That's an ugly collision there.
Was that Kevin Barboza? Did you happen to catch that number? I'm not sure.
I did not. And I know Nathan is doing a great job with the close-up, but there's too many guys around there. But this one we will take a timeout. We'll take an injury timeout here, and we'll be right back on Fred TV. Stay with us.
Honor, courage, sacrifice, pride, our city. Fall River has traditionally been in the forefront of honoring our nation's soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen. Vietnam veterans took the initiative to secure rights to an 80% size replica of the Healing Wall for Veterans Bicentennial Park. The names of over 58,000 fallen heroes will be engraved on the 360-foot long replica wall. 100% of the money raised benefits the building of our Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall in Fall River. Help build our wall, which is scheduled to open in 2020. The meaning, the spirit, and the value of the wall is everyone's. Be part of this exceptional, once-in-a-lifetime project. To make a donation, please visit vietnammemorialwall.org or connect with us at facebook.com.
We're back here at Matt Galdridge Field, and that was actually number 7, Lucas Fernandez, who went down. He's got an obvious limp, but he is walking off the field under his own power, and he did get up as well under his own power. So good to see that. Hopefully he'll be okay for the Boxers, because that was one of the uglier collisions we've seen in quite some time. Now we have Roman Codner holding the ball for the Hilltoppers. They're going to have a throw-in on this side.
Yep.
Not sure.
That's just Durfee being, how would you say, hospitable. Brockton had to kick the ball out in order to get the game to stop, so that they could deal with the injured player. That's just Durfee returning the favor.
Right. So it's Brockton ball. They're going to kick it away.
Sportsmanlike.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. I gotcha. Yeah, honestly, and that's a good call, Jake, because I didn't actually see the ball go out. I just saw the collision. I'm like, whoa. My eyes were glued to the collision zone. So
usually nine times out of 10 in soccer, the referees won't stop the gameplay for an injury. So it's usually the players will take it upon themselves. Either the team with the injury or the team without the injury, somebody will kick it out. And I mean, let's say Durfee had kicked the ball out so that time could be stopped for that Brockton player.
Yeah.
It would be it would kind of be polite, or it would be in like the folk ways of soccer to return the ball to Durfee, even though Brockton had the injury.
Sure.
It's a beautiful game, That's why.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they called it.
Boxers trying to move the ball up the field, working in the corner, heading towards the flag, and it goes out along the side.
It's Miranda plugging up the middle again. You wish you had, almost 4 guys back there.
Mm-hmm. And the defense, part of the success of Durfee last year, you had Danny Keys and Nilanera in the back.
Oh, the size.
Size and just, the veteran leadership, starters basically, through their whole career.
No, I want to say they even had somebody on the left on the defense who may have been around 6 feet as well. Neil and Danny were both well over 6 feet, but I think the guys they had working the edges was still packing some size to them.
You're right, and I think, it's like the rosters, we see so many teams, and it's like hard to remember who's who or who was on what team, but I think you're right. There was one more big guy that they always had back there, and I'm blanking now on his name.
Yeah,
that's going to drive me nuts now.
I know.
Thanks, Jake.
Well, I can picture him, too. I just can't think of the name. I'm also not sure if I'm picturing a kid from, the year prior. I did a lot of work with filming games around Nilan's year. So.
You may be thinking, Nilan's junior here, they had Ibrahim Naata. You remember him?
Yes.
He was fun to watch, let me tell you. And he was great in volleyball, too. He gave volleyball a shot. And he was a good weapon for Coach Brendan Kelly, too. Yeah, Naata. That kid was an explosive player for soccer.
That was another interesting year for these guys. 2 years ago. I almost liked that team more than I liked watching them last year. I had more fun watching those guys.
No, that was a great team. They won their first playoff game here. That was the double overtime, the shootout, extra shootout.
Yes.
I mean, that was just extra penalty kicks. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. I mean, I think we were up to 5 penalty kicks, maybe 6. That was just absolutely insane. And then Durfee lost the next one, a winnable
Silver
game.
Lake. That was
It was a winnable game. I have to be honest with you. I don't think that was Silver Lake either.
No, that was 2 years ago. Was Silver Lake in Silver Lake?
Oh no! So it was a home loss here.
What?
So that was
2 years ago?
No, I'm referencing that particular season. I think that actually might have been 3 years ago. Maybe it was Nilan's sophomore year. It might have even been that. Free kick for the Hilltoppers here. Kucher's going to do it from about the 30. It's a good spot. Now it's going to be a little bit too high, just a little too high. We'll pull up the brackets now. We'll get to the bottom of it. I want to say 2016 was that particular game. I could be wrong, but I think it was.
2019 now?
We're in 2019. I want to say 3. So let's see. Durfee beat Natick. That's what it was. Penalty kicks. Then they lost, and ironically, it was 2 versus 15, which is exactly what happened last year. Only last year, Natick beat us. So 2-1 in penalty kicks. Then they lost to Weymouth in overtime, a game they should have won here. Then in 2017, that was the Silver Lake one, I believe.
No, so that would be 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm saying 3 years ago was the 3 years ago is the one I'm talking about. That was here against Natick, the extra penalty kicks. Durfee lost to Silver Lake in penalty kicks as well. That was 2017, 2 falls ago. Because then they lost last year to Natick again.
Okay.
So Natick last year, Silver Lake on the road the year before, 2017. Then 2016, a win here, the penalty kicks, and then a loss here in overtime.
So that
it was, there were 2. They had 2 home games. You didn't work any of those games here. 2016, you didn't do any games with us that year.
Maybe I was doing those with the highlight guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I just recall that Silver Lake game being particularly vicious.
Oh, I know.
The
It was.
Referees were horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Yep.
poor Rui Almeida got a red card that game. Assistant coach Rui Almeida was handed a red card.
Yeah.
I mean, the referees do need to keep, control of the field. I do think Coach Almeida was letting them know how he felt about a particular call.
Yeah, I know that game was just all over the place, and there was a lot of grumbling about it because it was not a good. It was a good game, and there was a lot of emotion. It was a good game. I mean, 4 to 3, penalty kicks. That's a tight game, and if it's being affected by the officials, you got to let the guys play to an extent.
Yeah, it's tough. I tell my guys in wrestling season a lot, not so much during track, but I'll tell them during wrestling, you're out there, you're wrestling against 2 opponents. You got, the guy wearing the other singlet and then the guy in the striped singlet. And the idea is to make it so that the guy in the striped singlet doesn't have a say in the outcome.
Right. That's very, very true. 20 minutes gone in the second half. Only 20 minutes remain in this Durfee Brockton match. That's on the ground, and Massa scoops it up. Still 3-0 Brockton. Durfee has not been able to net a goal against Brockton this season. And this is a loss that, if the Hilltoppers don't pull off the miracle here, this is not going to help them in any way as we get toward the end of the season here. We'll run down here the remaining schedule for Durfee. So they're going to be home on Friday against Somerset Berkeley. They already played Somerset once this season. They tied them 1-1. Then they will travel to Taunton on Saturday. They lost to Taunton 4-1 here back at the end of September. Then Monday, senior night against Old Rochester. Massa able to get there for the save. Old Rochester, they traveled to begin the season, a 1-1 draw. And then they will square off against Diamond at Diamond on Wednesday to wrap up the regular season. And I'm sure for many, what they hope won't just be the last game of the season, hoping that the boys will get into the tournament. The Diamond matchup back on September 23rd was a 2-2 tie as well. So Durfee, against their final 4 opponents, is 0-1-3. No wins to show for.
A good chance to right some, I don't want to say wrongs, but to right some even matches there. They got 3 tied opponents that they have tied in the past. Now, do you know who the 4th opponent they had tied this year is?
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you right now. It was BR. That was back on the 12th of this month. And that was at Bridgewater Raynham. But the ties do count for points. You get half a point for a tie. Half your games. Ideally, you win half your games and you're in. So 18 games, you need 9 points. But the ties factor in. So right now they got 4 points thanks to the 4 wins, and then 2 points because of the ties. So they have 6 points with this game most likely not going to go their way. At least the odds would tell us that.
It doesn't look
Still,
so.
yeah, there's 17 minutes. A lot can happen in 17 minutes, but based on, again, trends and what's happened in this game so far, I wouldn't expect it. So let's just say Durfee drops to 4-6-4 here. That leaves them with 2 games to pick up 3 points, which basically at worst means they need to win 2 and tie 2.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the worst you can do. You can't lose a game after tonight or you're done. That's pretty much the best way to put it, and it'll break up a run of playoff berths. The last 3 years they've been in it. They've been in the tournament, and I want to say they were in 2015 as well. We're gonna go back here. Another shot on net wide to the left. We'll go back and take a look at our brackets here. 2015, yep, Durfee was 11-4-3. 2014, no, not Division II, Division I. Durfee 10-3-5. So that's 5 years in a row. 2013. Was the last time that Durfee was not in the tournament. They have made it into the tournament in each of the last 5 seasons. That's a great run. So that streak in jeopardy here And again, tonight's game not helping the cause for Durfee.
Yeah, they're really going to have to.
They got to dig deep.
Yeah.
And, you know, they got opponents that they can beat. Taunton's probably going to be their toughest one. Oh, and, you know, and Diamond, to be fair. I mean, Diamond's had one heck of a season. So, you know.
We can only, I mean, what we really need to hope for there is that we get some of this this Brockton, you know, strength of schedule magic that will help these guys out against Diamond. Although, you know, Diamond being another Fall River school, I'm sure plenty of these guys in this field have shared a field with people from Diamond, whether, you know, on the same team or playing against each other. So it's not like they're going to be going into this game completely blind.
Yeah, well, so, and that's the whole thing is, you know, I look at, you know, Somerset, Diamond, they were ties, right? Old Rochester was a tie. So when I see a tie, I figure, well, it probably could have gone either way, right? I mean, if it's 1-1 or a 5-5, might as well be 0-0 because either way it's a draw. You know, so could have gone either way. Massa swats it away. Boy, he's been busy and he's had some nice saves. Here's a second chance and it's going to go wide left.
Those are the kind of plays Durfee needs to get. They need to get a 1-2 punch in there.
And we haven't seen that tonight.
We haven't seen that. We've barely even seen them, you know, get close to the net, which, you know, it stinks. The home team league matchup, a game that you really need, and like I said earlier, a game that they really thought that they could hang in and you know, be dominant. Maybe not dominant, but hang in there, come out with a tie or even a win. But it's not in the cards tonight. These boxes came to play.
They sure did, and looking like they're going to improve and grab their 12th win. It'd be 12-5-0 with 1 to play. That one
shot right into the net.
Wow.
Top 90, right corner. Went by Massa looking.
Derek Brito could not place that any better, and I don't think Zach even thought it was going to make it in. It curled back in because he kind of gave up on it, and Massa does not give up on any balls.
No.
That was perfect placement for the 4th goal of the night for Brockton. That's probably one of the prettiest goals. You know, you saw the great pass in the first half, that perfect feed right through the chute, right through the middle, like threading the needle. And now you see a goal like that. I mean, you can't place it much better. And I'll tell you, if that's what Brockton does consistently, they're going to be tough in the bracket because they're going to the tournament, and I think they're going to be a force. That was just such a tremendous goal from Brito.
Yep, and that's those opportunities finally paying off. You know, he's taken that, maybe not the exact same shot, but he's had that attempt a couple of times tonight, and it finally connected in a beautiful way.
Whistle blown. I didn't see much there, to be honest with you.
Well, it might have just been something small. So, you know, sometimes these guys play the man instead of playing the ball. You know,
Right.
And, you know, soccer, you can almost get away with anything as long as you're trying to get after the ball. You make contact with the ball first, but, you know, sometimes you don't, and sometimes you hit a man.
Yeah, and so it was Giovanni Martins, their number 14, who got tagged with that foul. Another foul. This one will go against the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that one was. Maybe an offsides call, I don't know.
So Dos Santos thought he was going to send it down the field. Instead, hooks up De Silva. That one's going back, but De Silva did block it with the chest.
Durfee should really be in a full court press mode now, especially that deep in the boxer side of the field.
Right, and again, we're just not really seeing that. And I don't know if it's a combination of the elements or if the defense is just really that tough right now for Brockton, but Durfee has not been able to catch a break. You know, one of the guys that you tend to see get a bit of a break
is Kuchar.
No, well, Kuchar and Nicholas De Silva. De Silva has had some really good games this year, and you know, he's gotten a lot of breaks as well. Haven't seen much of him at all tonight. He hasn't had much of an impact on the game. So Brockton's really kind of shut him down too. And to be honest with you, I don't even see him on the field right now. No, I don't think he's not even on the field.
Durfee's forwards just really need to pester the defense while they're down here, force them to make some mistakes and just, get some easy shots on net. They really need some cheap goals.
Yeah, pretty much. And in fact, we see there's quite a few subs, guys who did not start, who are on the field right now for the Hilltoppers. So coach made some changes. I'm seeing Codner out there. I'm seeing Ethan Machado. So resting some of the regular starters here with the game basically out of reach here with 10 minutes to go.
Saw a little jersey pulling.
Yeah.
Some holding you don't want to see too much of that. It might be the explanation of why these Boxer guys have a little bit of an edge on our Durfee guys, but I doubt it. Sometimes these things happen late in the game because, people are getting tired. You don't want to give up that extra step. You'll do what you got to do.
Well, and I'm sure there's some frustration for the Hilltoppers, too, on top of it because, this has been 2 bad games against Brockton. 2 games that are important games. That one going out of play. Jake's going to step out for a sec here. One of our Fred TV kids, Nor Issa. Just got back with her Lady Hilltoppers. See if we can get a score here from their road match. We're under 10 minutes to play here at Mac Aldridge Field. Oh, they lost. We don't have a score, though. So, tough night for the Lady Hilltoppers on the road.
It is. Those poor girls have had a tough season.
They have, and I'll tell you, though, they have really competed. When I saw their record, the first time we got to cover them, it was pretty much mid-season because they had so many road games to start the year. And, when I saw that they only had the 1 win, I said, boy, it's been a bad season. They've really had it rough. But, you have to take into account that, records don't always show the whole story. And I thought that the ladies had a really strong game in their New Bedford matchup. I mean, they lost that game, but they competed. I was really impressed. And I think that for a young team, considering that Durfee did not have a JV program for girls soccer this year, the varsity team is young. And I was impressed. I know that they lost the game, but I was impressed with how they played, and I know that they're only going to get better because we've seen that in other sports that have struggled. And, once they get over the hump and they get past kind of the youngness, if you will, things tend to turn around as they get more and more playing time. And I really didn't think they played that badly. Look at the speed up the field for Martins as he gets there before it goes out of play, and he's going to end up getting the corner kick out of it.
Yeah, that girls' soccer team, I know a handful of them just from around the building. They're all great girls. They all play hard. I've seen a handful of their games. And, it's almost looks like this Brockton Boxer team, they have control of the ball.
Right.
They're getting shots on net, and they just they're not getting the ball quite in there, whether it's, they're not getting directly on target or the goalie's there or some defender happens to be in the right place. I saw 2 of their games, and they were in control of the game and not the scoreboard, which I think, it's tough. And like you said, these girls are young. They're going to get better.
But that you hit the nail on the head, and that's exactly right. Is they had their last game that we covered, they had chance after chance after chance after chance, and it was frustrating to a point even to watch because I've never seen a team with so many breaks in a game.
Yep.
And then they got outpowered in the last second or they couldn't finish it off. And, I mean, believe me, it was frustrating to watch because you're seeing these chances. Say, wow, a team would die for this many chances.
Mm-hmm. Just the opportunities alone.
Right. And then they, unfortunately, they just weren't able to put it in. And again, with experience, with growth, if that happens 2 years, if that was 2 years later and that was happening, you're probably looking at a 5-goal game.
Yes. Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean? So so it's frustrating, but the good news is that they're gonna get better as it goes. And you know, Coach Ami, it was nice to meet her this season. Glad that she's part of the Hilltopper family, and hopefully she'll be back next year.
Hopefully those girls can get some numbers on that squad too, because I don't think they have a JV team this year, and they're playing you know, an 11 player game with 13, maybe 14 players on that roster.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
girls
it's a
are
small,
tired, you know.
small roster, and in fact, they have an 8th grader. They got basically an injunction that they have one of the 8th graders from middle school actually playing on the team, and she was wicked fast. Let me tell you, she was quick. So she's gonna be a player for a while for the Hilltoppers.
I gotta tell you, I'm in favor of this new, you know, 8th grade kind of pull-up program.
Well, I'm way more in favor of that than I am seeing guys in girls sports and girls in guys sports.
Oh, well, certainly. But it's the cross-country team, Joe Lamar, has got himself 2 8th graders. One of them, I'm not totally sure her name. I think it's Margaret O'Donnell. But she is a phenomenal runner. Just natural talent. She's actually been pulling in a whole bunch of first-place races this year. Actually, I shouldn't say that. But I don't know exactly, you know, where she's landing in these races. But she's doing well. She's outperforming, you know, kids in high school, and I'm looking forward to her freshman year on track. Unfortunately, I guess she's a big 3-sport athlete. We might be competing with she might end up playing soccer right here. It's all right. I wouldn't mind getting her.
Was she building up that base though for running? That's running around the field for
indeed.
80 minutes. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
A lot of these kids, they got to explore some different options. You know, maybe you might enjoy soccer and running around a lot, but you might have a better option of you know, seeing some financial aid for sports if you use that running ability in a different way.
Right, and you know, and that's kind of, you mentioned, you know, track, and you know, I mentioned for Diamond that Maya Parker, you know, she played soccer, and she was fast for soccer, and she's sustaining out in the field for 80 minutes. Then she gets on a basketball court, which is what, maybe a
80 feet, I
maybe
believe,
you know, an 1/8 of the size of a soccer field, and she's got that base. The game is quicker. It's a shorter game, and she's got that base from soccer. I mean, it's no wonder she was the fastest one on the court.
No, yeah.
You know, it all translates across the board.
It makes a huge difference.
I still have to say though, and I remember Diamond softball coach and girls volleyball coach Kathy Noversa, who played here at Durfee softball. She was a Hilltopper. She said once in an interview, and I know I've brought this up before too, but, you know, we got our merge, the Big Three and Old Colony, no more Big Three, so that's a step in the right direction. Now, she was asked, I remember, by Greg Sullivan of the Herald News in this coach's profile, said if there's one thing you could change, that you could just change it and that's it, and just move on from that change without any issues or anything, and just do it, what would it be? And she said, well, that's easy. Baseball and softball in the fall, soccer moved to the spring.
Oh, I would love that.
Who would not like this?
If I was a
now,
soccer player,
there's
I
a
would
lot.
love that.
Now, the thing is there are a lot of variables. Number one being that there are a lot of football players that play baseball, and that's the game.
Wow, that's the game.
You know,
oh my God.
But you know, we'll finish the thought here and we'll continue it another day. But basically, you know, think about it. You have the summer leagues. The summer leagues are can be almost like spring training. You know, for baseball, softball, who are typically training in a gym because there's still snow on the ground in March. You know, and then the games are just miserable. Soccer this could be March, what we're looking at right now. Baseball can't play in this, but soccer could play in this right now.
Totally, and
you know,
this is peak season for a lot of the premier outside of high school soccer leagues, the more premier young men's leagues. Fall is when they're putting up their best numbers, and they could play through spring and summer, and just as baseball is like a preparation.
Right,
you know,
but
then
there's the argument though too, is that, well, then what about all the travel teams that typically have spring soccer? Well, and again, I get that, but why not? All right, so make a travel team in the fall.
They have it in the fall as well.
Right.
I played for.
I would love to see that, because I'll tell you one thing. I mean, think about it. Baseball, the spotlight comes for baseball in the fall when you get the World Series and the playoffs. And I really truly believe that you'd get more games in without problems and with better weather if you're doing it in the fall.
Well,
Then-
Durfee's baseball field probably wouldn't be so much of an issue if we're not having games in the rainy season.
right,
During
right.
monsoon season here in Massachusetts.
Sure. Well, hey, all good food for thought, and we'll talk more about it because there's still fall sports to be played here in Fall River. So, Jake, glad that you joined me. This was a lot of fun, and if we get a soccer playoff game, which I know we definitely will for Diamond, but hopefully we will for Durfee here. But again, they got a tough road ahead. Hilltoppers drop to 4, 6, and 4. Brockton improves to 12, 5 and 0 after the 4-0 win here. And with 4 games left, the Hilltoppers at worst can win 2 and tie 2 to get into the tournament. They cannot lose a game the rest of the way, or they're going to be eliminated from the tournament for the first time in 5 years. So we wish Durfee the best of luck the rest of the season here. We will have, again, senior night ceremony coverage on Monday. And but other than that, in terms of full games for the regular season, we're done here with boys soccer. So we saw a couple good games, a couple tough games like tonight. And we wish them the best in their final 4 games. So for Daniel Keating and Nathan Saucier, my broadcast partner tonight, Jake Fitzgerald, I'm Evan Massoud saying so long from Durfee High School.